So here we are playing the new Marvel MOBA. Jeff's jungling with the captain right now.
I'm totally jungling.
What? No, that's not what this is at all.
No, this is Marvel Heroes.
Yes.
It's an action RPG. There's no MOBA happening here.
There is a giant goddamn dinosaur here right now.
Yeah, I've got a...
Are we in the Savage Lands?
Yes.
Okay.
We are.
Look at me kicking my Marvel Universe
Nice
knowledge.
going. Yeah, this is Marvel Heroes. I'm fighting dinosaurs as part of a kind of an event type mission that will jump off now and again. Every set number of minutes, the dinosaurs will attack the village, and if you're there to beat them, then you can get take care of these dinosaurs and get some experience points.
So you're currently fighting with just a bunch of other random people that are in this.
Yeah, there's just a bunch of people here that are just hanging out right here that are also fighting these dinosaurs.
So they call this, or they've used MMO to describe this.
Yeah,
but that doesn't seem entirely accurate.
It is an action RPG in which there are more players. You can have 5-man teams, and most of the dungeon areas are instanced. So, like this spot right here, absolutely, yeah. There are multiple players running around. You can team up. You can chat. You can do things you would do in an MMO.
But you're also just you can also just freewheel it. You're not teamed up with anyone
totally.
right now, right?
I'm not on a team. When you go into an instance, it will automatically party you up in some cases, which is kind of nice. Oh, hey, there's a quest up there. There's one quest. So I've already beat this game, but there was one quest that I missed somewhere in the Savage Land chapter, and I believe this is the one.
So we're doing a special event that's taking place.
That was just it's over.
Okay, so that was
those dinosaurs are. Oh, so this is just him saying, "Nice going. You totally fought off those dinosaurs.
Take these yellow things."
Yes, that's more XP. But was that the thing that I was missing? No, there's this quest right here, and I don't know what it is or where I need to go to find it.
Well, can we just do some exploring around here?
Totally, yeah. I mean, we can go wherever. Even though I've kind of finished the game, you can warp around and refight bosses and just kind of run the game, run the content again and again if you want.
So, if we didn't make this clear earlier, which I don't think we mentioned this is a free-to-play game.
It is, yeah.
And you are playing with Captain America, which is one of the this is one of the free starters? Or?
No, this is not one of the free starters. The free starters, I want to say it's like the Thing and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, and Hawkeye.
Hawkeye with Storm, maybe.
That sounds potentially right. But yes, and Black Panther.
Okay, yeah. So I've had a good time with Captain America. He is a good mix of melee and ranged.
Sure, he's got his shield, so you can.
He's got shield, so you throw that around, and when you get to groups of enemies.
Oh wait, run back there for a second, where you just were.
All right.
Oh yeah, that's the crashed X-Men Blackbird. That's no good.
Yes, that happens in a cutscene.
Cool. Yeah, I just even from the few glimpses earlier, Jeff, I guess it's one of the main hub areas. You were in Stark Tower.
Yep.
Which is that's Avengers HQ eventually.
So that's shield bounce. This ability here, where the shield just bounces between dudes, really effective. Really effective. I mean, the one that just goes out and back can eventually do more damage, depending on if you're leveling them up properly. But I've had a great experience with shield bounce.
Just bouncing that between dudes.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that, just so far from what little I've seen of this game, it is just packed with, Marvel lore stuff. It seems like they are...
The story doesn't necessarily go out of its way to explain a lot of that stuff. You'll have a few missions that are like, hey, you're about to go fight the Kingpin. Why don't you go talk to Wonder Man, or somebody in the tower knows more about that dude. Go talk to him. And you get a page of text that you can read about some of these characters if you want. But there's not been a lot of quests that are specifically lore based.
Sure. But I mean, they're tapping into a lot of recognizable locations, and I was able to know that this was the Savage Lands just from dinosaurs and jungle.
Right.
And Stark Tower similarly was pretty self-explanatory. So it's not necessarily real deep cut stuff, but if you know your Marvel universe, this is greatly appealing.
Your first crafter is Hank Pym.
Awesome. Yep, that checks out. that's how that should be if you're gonna format the Marvel Universe into an action RPG.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you're talking to characters that are named characters and all that sort of stuff, and but then there are like 20 Wolverines talking to the one Psylocke.
So you just leveled up, and it said that your speed increased to 3.
Yeah.
Do you have no control over
this stuff?
Points?
You have no control over this stuff, but your powers is where you spend the points. So different characters accelerate these at different levels, and they don't all fill the way up. So Captain America never gains any energy rating, so he's always going to take, he's always going to do less energy and mental damage as a result of his energy rating.
Right. Because that's not the style of fighter he is.
Right. But by speed going up to 3, I now have plus 5% to move speed. And he's primarily a fighting character. So at level 32 here, you see, I will get amazing fighting, where I get more damage with my fighting powers,
and what's the
less
top
damage
level?
from incoming, and then from there, it's the percentage goes all the way up. So right now I'm at plus 15%. And
Remarkable, typical.
But these characters that are poor at fighting, they would get negative 10% with their fighting powers and stuff like that. So
you're getting shot.
That's all character specific and level specific. You don't make any choices there.
Okay.
But I do get 2 points to spend on my powers.
Yeah, the old bounce seems fun. And effective.
Yeah, it's super effective. I've been putting a lot of points into it. It's been really useful. But so the powers I've got here, there's a shield bash that I'm using as kind of a it's almost like an extra attack. So if I'm hammering on shield bash as my normal attack is coming out, kind of just laying waste to people that way. Shield bounce is the one that bounces between dudes. Shield swipe will spin around and hit everybody.
Just clear out a little.
Yeah, and also you have a secondary resource. A lot of characters will have a secondary resource. His is shield points that'll go up just randomly as you land attacks on a percentage basis.
Okay.
And if you have shield points, it'll spend 1 when you use that ability, and it'll knock back enemies. So if you get surrounded, it's really useful for that. And then quick block has been super key late game. That just does that, and then for, what is it here? Right now, at rank 5, it blocks all damage for 3 seconds. And then as a 4.5 second cooldown. So that means if I'm standing in front of someone just swinging on them, there's 1.5 seconds where I will take damage and 3 seconds that I won't. And I can kind of hit this over and over again as I'm just laying out my normal attack and really lay waste to bosses with it. It's been almost too effective.
So it seems like there's a decent amount of sophistication in the sorts of tactics that even just Captain America here can use.
Well, why don't we head back to wherever this is going to take me? This might take me to, the school. There's kind of 3 home bases over the course of the game, kind of as you work your way through the story, the different chapters. We'll take you to different places. And once we're back there, we can spend these points, kind of show you how the tree works.
So I was going to ask do you feel like the combat takes advantage of these abilities? Because it seems like you have a fair amount of
these abilities,
options.
you wouldn't have these abilities if you didn't put points into them.
Okay.
So, and because as you can see here, there are abilities like this dynamic charge, which is like a charging star's kind of forward dash. I don't put any points into that because I think it's lame.
Okay.
But it's a forward dash that'll hit people in a line, and then upgraded version of that might not do knockdown damage as well. Stunning backflip. There are points in this as a result of some gear that I'm wearing, but I don't have it equipped because it just you backflip out of the way. It's not that it has not been a great fit into my style.
Okay.
Shield toss I'm not really using a lot of anymore. But these powers that are in the same line, they have synergy. So for every point here, I get plus 1% of damage in shield bounce, which I use a lot of. So I'm going to put another point into shield bounce because that's been really useful. And I might put another point into block because that's been pretty useful late game. I imagine it being pretty good. But I've got a shout here that has an aura effect for if I'm teamed up, they'll move faster, they'll attack faster, stuff like that. That's been really great too. A few things that make it so you generate shield points more effectively, so you kind of deal with your secondary resource in different ways. But yeah, I'm going to put 1 more point into quick block, confirm that, and then eventually you get to level 30, unlock your kind of ultimate ability, which for him will revive teammates, which that could be useful, I guess, up at level 30. But what am I, like level 20? What am I at?
23?
26.
26.
25. So this game still has a bug that it's had for weeks now where the loading screen sound just plays sometimes when you get to an area, like it is now.
Oh, that's what that is? I thought that was just technology.
Well, it's both. So we picked up some gear here that is... Okay, well, let's talk about how gear works real quick.
Okay.
Different guys are going to have different slots. Obviously, he's got a shot plus slot for a shield. You can't equip Punisher's gun here all the loot is character specific.
Right.
At this level, these artifacts are not, and the medals are not. But you know, costume and this sort of stuff. So different items will confer ability bonuses. So this, you see, +2 to current rank of stunning backflip. So even though I haven't put any points into stunning backflip, I can use it because I have this shield equipped. See what I mean?
Yeah, and it's purple.
Yeah, I got these perps here. But you know, this mask here is not purple, but it has 150 defense on it, so it's pretty useful.
So these pieces of gear are not have no aesthetic impact on.
Yes, your aesthetics are set purely by the costume, and I can take this costume off, and it'll just go back to default Captain America.
Okay.
And they come with a default costume, even if you're not. It comes with one here, even if you're not going to wear one, it'll still just look like that. But
right.
Because you can attach bonuses in the crafting to your costumes, you see I have 3 bonuses there on the costume itself.
So those were not inherent to this costume?
No. I've crafted those onto there.
Cool.
Crafting seems like the most useful thing. I mean, there are guys that sell gear, but like the loot I'm finding is better than anything I can buy. But at the same time, these guys have ranks. And you rank up the crafters and the dudes by donating items to them. So by foregoing money, you get XP to the crafter instead. Which then, for the guys in the shop, it makes it so they sell more and better stuff. For the crafters, it gives them more recipes. So I've been putting most of my stuff in the crafter. I'm just going to donate all this crap here, because I don't need any of this junk. And that's a crafting item. Elements are the things you kind of use to craft. This is a level 3 element by the 3 dots here. So you can kind of work up the tree here, but really what you're doing is you're attaching bonuses to your costumes here. So I went all offensive. You can go defensive and offensive if you want. Gear, you can take your blue items and level them up into purples, giving them more stuff. And then miscellaneous, you can buy consumables, or you can craft consumables and stuff like that as well. The crafting system's kind of cool.
So here's a question.
All right.
You've got this Captain America character that you've leveled him up, and you have also leveled up some of his gear.
Yeah.
And all of that stuff is specific to Captain America. If you were to play as a different character, swap out, none of that level stuff and none of that progression would stick, correct?
Exactly. So if I switch to, let's say, oh gosh, who do you want to see?
Hulk.
All right, let's switch to Hulk. Oh god, that went horribly wrong. So now I'm the Hulk, but I'm a level 1 Hulk, and it says, this is the first time you played, do you want to restart the story? And this is the part that worries me. I don't know how this works. I've always said no, because now that I've finished the game, I've got the end game stuff open.
Right.
Like PvP and there are some like repeatable daily missions and stuff like that. So I'm worried that by doing this, it will lock me out of that stuff again, and that doesn't sound like a great thing.
So here's my question on top of this, is that you're also leveling up your crafters. Does that
sticks.
stick?
That sticks. So my inventory is the same regardless of who I am. The equipped things will obviously change. But you see here, he doesn't have a shield. He's got a rage slot.
Right.
And armor and belt slot and stuff like that. So why don't we take the Hulk, if we really want to fight him, since he's level 1, we're going to have to go back to the beginning of the game. So we'll just teleport back to the prologue. And you can rewind your story progress. There's a guy that lets you reset to a certain chapter if you want to try playing it again. But again, like that's the thing, like they don't explain enough about how that works to where I am afraid to try it and lock myself out of stuff.
Okay.
But the game starts with an invasion of the raft and a bunch of supervillains get out, and then you spend the rest of the game fighting the said supervillains.
So you've played through the story here.
Yeah, so I won't. The story objectives like get security back online. Don't show up here, but we'll still fight Living Laser and we'll still fight the Green Goblin.
Okay.
At the end of this, so
you just punch that guy away.
I just punched that guy. So what does he have? He's got his basic fighting power, Furious Punch. He's got Ground Smash, which is a ground smash, and then Unbridled Rampage. Spends all of your anger. So, like Captain America, he has a secondary. A lot of the characters have a secondary resource. So it looks like you'll build up anger as you take damage, and then
not anger, rage.
And then you will it requires anger.
Oh, I'm sorry. It does require anger. I misspoke. That right there, I might have to play as Hulk just for that flyaway punch. That guy just fell over.
Yeah, they don't always fly away.
I do like when they do, though.
Just getting started.
So let's see here. You're fighting, what, AIM dudes?
Yep.
Okay.
Or no, these are Hydra.
Oh, these are Hydra dudes, yeah.
But you do fight AIM guys.
AIM guys have the funny hats.
Through a whole section of the game.
That's right. And I do understand that MODOK shows up at points.
Yes, you do. Purifiers. Your William Stryker.
Okay, yeah.
And his guys. So
those guys are
here's
dicks.
Smoldering Rage. That is an equipable +5 damage in my Rage slot. He also has a pants slot.
Yep. That's what he has.
Those awesome stretchable pants that Bill Bixby would always be wearing. And I don't know. The transformation. Yeah. So I've not played as Hulk before, but I've seen some of these items, and not really known how they fit into.
So you could. Will you find yourself picking up items for characters other than one you're actively playing as?
Yes.
Okay.
Primarily, you will find gear for your character, but yeah, you will get drops for all characters as you play. Really lumbering.
As he should be. He's the Hulk.
Have you ever seen a lift like this? These diagonal slow lifts that are seemingly only in video games?
In a number of video games, yes. I want to say also maybe some anime.
Okay,
but primarily in video games. I'd like to ride one of those at some point.
They seem interesting.
I bet they have one of those at like the CERN Large Hadron Reactor.
Sure, that seems like something they would have. Aha, I smashed the ground before that guy could smash the ground, interrupting his attack. There's some good interrupt-style combat in this game of, like, if you are paying attention to these enemies, you can basically know what they're going to be doing, and in some cases prevent them from doing it. So we've got a +2 defense, we've got a +5, +15 spirit, so we'll equip that. That's for Cyclops. That's for Cyclops.
So even though you're playing as this other character, the story beats are already completed.
Yeah, so I can go anywhere in the game.
There's got to be. Like,
I've unlocked all the waypoints. Like I can go wherever.
There's got to be something to be just to dig through the forums on before trying to make that commitment.
Yeah, I
just
need a one-sentence explanation on what gets reset if I do that.
Yeah.
And what do I get locked out of when that happens? Because if I lose access to all my waypoints and suddenly can't go to the other areas, that seems really unattractive to me.
Mm-hmm. Because it seems like there's the two methods, right? There's if you're playing as another character, it was offering to reset the story.
Yeah, and then there's a guy you can talk to in your home areas that are like, here you can warp back to any chapter you've previously completed and play it again.
It kind of sounds like that option is there specifically for your characters that you've already played through areas with.
Yeah.
So they're at a level that they could deal with. Because I imagine if you tried to take Hulk into...
It would go poorly. Yeah, he's not going to survive.
Yeah. It doesn't just scale like that.
Right. So the way I've been playing this game, I've been very focused on getting health regen gear. Mm-hmm. You don't automatically regenerate out of combat unless you're Wolverine or Deadpool, characters that would have that. Or if you're wearing gear that regenerates health.
Look at this stupid villain trying to get out of his prison.
Yeah.
Who is that? I can't tell. His legs.
Some of the guys seem real nondescript. Like this guy over here. Who's that? He's just hanging out, punching that wall.
I think that's not even... Yeah.
That's just a dude.
Guy shooting green energy at you.
Oh, I've got some anger. I'm just going to spend it.
He got way bigger.
He did not like me when I was angry. It's all true.
I think you're okay.
All right, I'm going to use some health here because I'm kind of sinking. And now we're fighting Living Laser, which I had never heard of before, but what a nice concept for a dude. I am a laser.
I'm alive.
So he'll teleport through me.
That's good comic book villain premise, you know?
So I'm not really into superheroes.
Yeah.
But I like a lot of these characters as video game protagonist archetypes.
Sure.
Like, like Wolverine is a fantastic character.
Absolutely.
He's brooding.
Yep.
He is angry.
He's savage.
He's an anti-hero in the way that good video game characters are, and his abilities are easy to explain.
Yeah.
Guy has claws.
He's got knives on his hands.
He is constantly pissed off, and also there's the abstract thing of he can regenerate stuff.
He's got a metal skeleton.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds believable. That sounds like something that they would do.
Yeah.
Grants Hulk Tough at rank 3. That's a great name for a power.
You're playing as a green rage monster right now, so...
Summon gamma-fueled power to withstand enemy attacks. Ends any Hulk-free or Hulk-mad power effects. So Hulk-free, Hulk-mad. Alright. So because I'm wearing gear, like normally this wouldn't even unlock until I hit level 2.
Oh, okay, but you have gear that gives you points.
Yeah, yeah. So... Hulk Tough. And that's just an active aura power from the looks of things, so now I just get hell of extra defense.
There's Tough, and then there's Hulk Tough.
That's right.
Or is that like an exclamation? That's like Hulk Tough.
Well, I think it's just, there's no exclamation point, but considering they have Hulk Free!
Okay, yeah.
And Hulk Mad.
Got it. Always referring to himself in the third person.
I know.
Pretentious dick.
It's like Dennis Rodman.
Thanks, Bill Bixby.
Bill Bixby just wanted to help people, and then the car, the tire he was changing fell on his hand, and he got so mad!
Oh, and those
Hulk wants another fight now.
redneck ruffians were beating up on the store clerk and
Yeah, and then just had to...
with their flannel shirts.
And then they all had to die. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to level up my basic punch here. There's not too much I can do. Ground Smash, that seems like it'd be useful to get more damage out of as well. Why not? Oh, he does the Meteor Strike. Look at that.
Awesome. So you've been playing this pretty much solo.
I mean, it's when you go into an instance, sometimes it'll match you up with other players. I have not been going out of my way to play with people I know.
Okay.
But I've definitely grouped up quite a bit.
Have there been any sort of like team up abilities?
No.
Okay.
No. I mean, you'll have things where, you know, some of these characters have aura effects that affect multiple players, and you know, they're useful. Like, you know, when you get a fast-moving, that's the exact same. Yep, Hulk Tough, but 2 different names. Weird.
Oh, same result though?
Yeah. So we're almost through the prologue here.
So I asked about the...
I like this little bit here.
Symbiote. No, now Venom's here.
I'm like, all right, later.
That's a nice little background action touch. I asked about the team up thing because there is this like specifically...
Like there's
the fastball
Ultimate Alliance, like the fastball special
the
stuff.
fastball special stuff with, you know, that's any big guy and small guy, but like Colossus and Wolverine is the classic team up.
No, nothing like that. That
Yeah.
seems like something to be kind of cool to have, but they do not.
All right.
5-player groups max. I don't know if I said that already. But
Oh crap! Green Goblin's here.
yeah, so we're just gonna punch him a bunch, then I'll hit the ground, then he'll make a poison cloud and walk around to get out of that poison cloud and just keep hitting him. I'm doing so much damn damage to him. What if I was angry on top of that? What if I was bigger? Alright, now he's gonna run around and drop bombs.
Yeah, I gotta say, I really feel like this is scratching the same itch as Marvel Ultimate Alliance did for me back in the day.
Yeah, like the loot stuff is nice, but I wish it was cosmetically
Significant,
interesting.
yeah.
That's hard because you will kind of want an on-brand version of the character, whatever the hell they want to do. But
Sure, and when you make changes, you want it to be significant. Like, superheroes don't just, like, pick up a new glove or whatever.
right,
Like, when they make changes, it's dramatic and kind of an all-encompassing thing.
yeah. So a lot of the bosses, the big named characters, will drop medals, and these will give you powers that you can equip in your medal slot. So Green Goblin, 3% chance to create a poison cloud when you're hit. Living Laser, 3% chance to fire a laser burst when you're hit. Stuff like that. You know, if you have the Kingpin medal, you get more credits when they drop, and you get life back for picking up money.
So wait, Hulk might shoot a laser?
Hulk might shoot a laser
That's madness.
because he's wearing that medal.
And hey, the Vision's here.
And we're gonna go back to the
Let's go to Avengers Tower.
Avengers Tower. So that's the prologue of the game. That's kind of the first sequence you play before you're kind of let out into the world with a bunch of other humans to interact with and stuff. So,
so how long would you say you spent on the campaign to get through it your first go around?
let's call it probably around 20 hours, something like that. So it is a free-to-play game. They're selling a lot of these costumes and stuff. So we could put on the Mr. Fix-It costume for Hulk, Planet Hulk, Old Hulk, Movie Hulk.
Avengers movie Hulk specifically.
Yes, Avengers movie Hulk. You want to see any of these?
Let's see Mr. Fix-It.
All right.
That's a good one. That's a fun era of Hulk. This is when he was a bouncer.
Okay, that makes sense.
In like Las Vegas.
That's a little weird.
It was a weird time for Hulk. He's also Gray Hulk, so he's kind of smarter Hulk too.
Okay, I mean, he'd have to be. It's a smart suit.
Mm-hmm. Like if you were Rage Hulk, you would just bust out of that suit.
Right. Exactly. Oh, the Thing is one of the free characters, I think, as well.
Yes, I think we said that.
Did we? Okay.
I saw something about pets. I see this little robot here floating around.
Yep. Yeah, I have a pet in here somewhere.
This is your stash.
Yes. Yes, I have an Iron Buddy. Oops.
It's a little tiny Iron Man.
Yep.
He just doesn't do anything, just follows you around?
Just follows you around. Yeah, he just follows you around.
Just a pet.
It's a pet.
That's ridiculous, but also kind of awesome.
Yeah. So all this gear I can just sell and get rid of, and because none of it's stuff I'm really going to equip, or just go donate to a crafter or something like that. So it's free to play. Mm-hmm. What do you want to do when you don't want to play as those starter characters? I think that the multi-character stuff is a little weird. So I think if people want to play this game, they should ideally try to stick to a couple of characters, try to find one they like right off the bat.
Right.
They got their in-game store with their in-game balance and stuff like that.
And there's not really any, it doesn't seem like there's, like you're going to see the same story regardless of what player or what character you play as.
Exactly.
So
the cutscenes are pre-rendered, so you won't even necessarily be in the cutscenes.
Okay.
Depending on who you're playing.
That said, this seems like stuff that they haven't made any promises to this end necessarily, but this seems like stuff they could expand on as far as like story missions go.
Totally, yeah. I think they have said that they do plan on adding more areas. You know, they're expanding the game. It's a living product, as many games are these days. We don't have the character prices here because I own them all, but. You know, some of these costumes are pricey, so you know you end up getting some. Like if they have bundle packages where you'll end up getting some in-game currency as a result of that. So
yeah.
the initial spend might not match up 1-to-1, but generally speaking, that's $13.
Right.
For a costume. That's $10 for a costume. And the costume
that's on top of you already.
Though this one is $6.50.
Although you probably already spent money just to unlock the character.
Yeah, I mean some of the stuff can drop. I will say that ever since the game has gone into early start and has not been part of a beta, I have not had one character or costume drop.
But you're having more of that.
If that's
happen.
because I already have access to all the costumes and characters, I don't know. But you can buy multiples of the costumes since you can put stuff, you know, attributes on them.
So you could have multiple of the same costume, have them functionally be different.
Yeah. And a lot of the character pricing, you know, I get why they're doing it this way, but it still feels weird where like stuff for Deadpool is way more. So this is an enhanced costume, meaning it makes him talk like a pirate when you wear it.
Okay.
So they're doing more work in some of these costumes than others. And then just like, you know, Iron Man's just got a billion costumes.
Well, Iron Man, it kind of is the costume, so that makes a little bit of sense. But also, like, if we want to talk just more straight mercenary, Iron Man is incredibly popular right now.
Very hot right now. People love the Iron Man.
So, I get why they would, you know, they charge more because they think they can.
Yes, that is the impression I get. And like Punisher, hey, you want to wear a trench coat? What if you looked a little more thuggish?
You're all, I don't like sleeves.
What if you wore
like
a different color Rocket Raccoon?
See these ones where it's just like a fake
skin
palette swap,
but then the prices are different because this is the Marvel Now costume, or you know, like
I imagine they're also like figuring this stuff out to a certain degree as well. Of like, let's put these prices out here and see how see if people bite.
I guess, yeah. That stuff obviously is stuff they can change.
And I imagine there will be, as in other popular free-to-play games, there will be sales and such. Or at least I would not be surprised if that happened.
Yeah. And specials tab is empty right now. So
there is a specials tab. What are cards?
This one fortune card, you use it and it might give you something. Or it will give you something. What it gives you is random.
Okay, but you're spending spending $1 on that.
Yeah. Here are the pets. Here's that Iron Buddy. I got that Iron Buddy. I got that Iron Buddy from a fortune card.
Oh, well, there you go.
So yeah. But then consumables.
Cosmic keys.
Cosmic keys are used in the daily missions. So let's switch back to Captain America so that we can actually fight. And
so it looked like, they had this Founders Club thing, which is gone now because the game is out. But they had, like,
I believe that's the case. Yes.
I couldn't find any mention of that stuff on the site this morning. So they had these pre-release sales for these. They had character bundles, and then they had like some group bundles. And they had different tiers of prices, but it looked like the way they were doing it for pre-release was about $20 for a character and some skins.
And like some skins and some in-game currency, I think, to go with it. Right?
Well, I think that was the Founders Club thing, was that you got the $10, you got the 1,000 points of in-game currency. I don't think you'll get that post-release.
Yeah. So here you see Story Warp. You can kind of go back and all progress in your current chapter will be lost. That sounds... I don't know about that. So this is the Endgame stuff. This is what they're calling a beta test of their PvP over here.
Oh, okay.
And you've got these daily mission terminals. The green ones you can just do. And what these are just you're revisiting areas from the game that already exist in the story, and they are harder. They are more appropriate to your level. So you're kind of just replaying the content, which is not super great.
It's not
if
really
you want a harder version of that, you can play these red versions, and these require a cosmic key, which you noticed was for sale in the store. I've not seen any of those drop. And then you've also got the challenge terminal, where you can go on these group challenges, which I have not done any of that stuff yet, so I don't know exactly how that works. But these things, this will be a little more level appropriate if we just go into the latest thing that I've done. This game is really easy.
Okay.
It's really lax on the death penalty stuff. So I'm in here. I need to defeat the Hood.
Yep.
The Hood's kind of a pain in the ass to fight, so we'll see how it goes.
All these dockyard cutthroats.
That's right.
That's a good low-level action RPG enemy name.
Yeah. And Hand Ninja.
Yes, the Hand.
The Hand.
They're a ninja clan.
Like the Foot Clan.
Yes, but the Hand.
But the Hand.
Pretty sure they predate the Foot.
I bet you're right. I don't doubt that one bit.
Ninjas.
And then there's a guy over here with a gun, too.
Ninjas don't use guns.
Well, that guy does. They aren't all ninjas.
No.
That guy rooted me. He's got chains.
That guy's got a mohawk because he's a
he's
tough.
He's a punk rocker.
Yep. He loves the Ramones. It's his defining characteristic.
Yep. So I'm wearing scads of health regen gear, so I'm not... And then these fights aren't necessarily difficult, so I'm not super worried about this stuff. We'll probably be able to cruise most of the way up to the Hood himself, and then that fight will probably sort of suck. But when you die, you just respawn back in the same area, and the damage doesn't reset, so you can just kind of die your way through most of the major boss encounters.
Okay.
And there's a theoretical penalty in that there's a class of item, these bloodstone totems, that you can equip at a really high level, or a higher level than I am now, even, I think.
Like, you haven't even seen them yet?
I've seen them for sale, but I can't actually equip them.
Okay.
And they're artifacts. They go in your artifact slot. And these things, like it says, like, adds 900 health, minus 10% for every time you've been defeated. So at that point, your number of deaths factors into if that thing is worth a damn or not.
Oh, okay. Well, that's weird, because you could end up, like, at that high level, not even realizing that that penalty would exist.
Yeah.
Find these items and go like, oh, well, This does me no good because I died a shitload of times.
And I don't think I can just reset my Captain America. So at some point, it's like, well, now I need to play this character first time through, change characters, and then really focus on not dying.
Yeah.
So as a result of me playing when there weren't a ton of people online and going through a lot of stuff by myself and having fights that, you know, were sort of difficult, 54 times I went down. There you go. See, it says right there, Bloodstone totems become weaker as you accumulate defeats. So there's that little hint there, but what does that even mean?
Right. Well, now I know.
Now you know.
So I will
try not to die.
Yeah.
I mean, try not to die. You'll die.
In general?
I guess. I don't know. Do what you want to do. I ain't your dad. Alright, so we're coming up on this hood fight, I think. So now I'm starting to take a little more damage from some of these guys here. They're ganging up on me a little better.
And this is a mission that you're just playing at the default difficulty, right? This isn't toughened up?
This is the daily mission version of it.
Oh, okay.
So these are much higher level. You encounter this encounter is much earlier in the game,
right?
Than we are right now. But you're replaying it, and you get a better version of the medal, the kind of enemy medal that drops off of him.
Oh, okay.
For completing this, so. You hear some speech here and there. There's not a ton of it. And most often the speech is like when you encounter other player characters, they will have one line of dialogue per. So when you see a Cable player, you know, whatever percent of the time, he will say something about, oh, the future will be fine, you know, we'll fix the future, you know, or whatever.
It did seem like Green Goblin had a couple more lines when you were encountering him as a boss.
Whoa. What the fuck is that?
What was it?
Vibranium ore. Visit a crafter to add this to a costume, +1 energy projection. Wow, okay. I've never seen a costume core before.
Well, vibranium is pretty dope.
Yeah, that's what his shield is made of,
Yep,
right?
that's what your shield's made out of.
So, yeah, I mean, my crafter is not high enough level for this to even exist as something I can do just yet. So, I guess if I just continue donating stuff to my crafter, eventually I'll be able to add more stuff to my costumes. Interesting. With Captain America, he's got some abilities that, you know, require you to have your shield. You can't block if your shield is currently out bouncing off of dudes.
Right.
Which makes sense. So it kind of forces you to
You're no crime boss. You're just a common thug.
think strategically.
Captain America does not think highly of these thugs.
No. No, he does not.
Oh, I saw a life bar for the hood.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
For a
Oh, yeah,
second.
we are there, I guess, aren't we? Yeah, here he is. Or he will be right here. With all these other dudes. Alright. So. The Hood has been one of the more difficult boss fights. A lot of them, you end up kind of getting to a point where you're like, I know how to do this, it'll be no problem. A lot of the other ones are a little trickier than that. But generally speaking, you can kind of run away. Then come back, start my block time, run up here, hit the button for a while, then try to get away. Heals when injured. That sucks. Alright, so I guess we just gotta keep on him and hopefully not die.
Oh, so like when you are not attacking him, he is healing?
Yes. And I'm dead. So you can revive other players by just clicking on them, so kind of mid-fight you wouldn't necessarily have to make this run unless everyone died.
Would that...
But it takes some time to revive a guy.
Would that save you from a defeat count?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. I didn't count it, but we will probably get back to the Hood and he will have all his life back, which means we're probably not going to
defeat the Hood.
Yeah. Oh, no, he's still down. This seems like a bug where sometimes I can't walk towards enemies. Seems to be happening in some of these boss fights. I'm not sure if like I'm getting hit with something that's knocking me away, but because I'm using the block, it's. But yeah, it seems like a bug. Like, that seems like I should be able to run up on him, right? But I'm getting stuck and it's broken.
Maybe. I could also see that being just them not visually conveying...
Like if knockback is working weird.
Yeah, the knockback that guy is doing.
Yeah. So I've already committed to not caring about how many times I die, so it seems like we should just be able to run up on him and do this a few times until he is dead.
Almost there.
All right, so now I get access to the next daily mission in the sequence from that terminal. I get
Do some good with this.
this hood medallion. I get these cube shards, which you can turn in for fortune cards, I think, every time you get a batch of them.
Oh, you can't just turn those into a cosmic cube.
No, they are a result of some story stuff involving the destruction of a cosmic cube.
Got it. Well, it seems like they're touching on, a lot of crazy corners of the Marvel Universe, going into the cosmic stuff, the Avengers stuff, the X-Men seem to figure into this at least somewhat prominently if you're spending time at Charles Xavier's School for the Gifted.
Yeah, they kind of touch. I mean, you play as whatever character you like, but it'll touch on, like I said, you end up going through like the Stryker kind of anti-mutant stuff. You visit Mutant Town.
Yeah, I saw there was a Madripoor level back there. That's pretty cool.
So you kind of go all over the place. Shield helicarrier. There's a lot of plenty of enemies. They touch on a bunch of different stuff. Plenty of named enemies, but the basic thugs can get a little. You fight the Hand for a lot. You fight the AIM guys for a lot. You fight Hydra, generic dudes a lot.
Yep.
And then Savage Land, you fight kind of tribal dudes.
And dinosaurs.
You fight the Taskmaster.
All right. Well, don't show me everything. I don't want to see all this.
Yeah. All right.
Every last bit of this, but I think that's a pretty good taste of Marvel Heroes, launched now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you shouldn't spend a ton of money on it if you can avoid that, because it's.
It doesn't seem like the
multi-character stuff doesn't seem super great.
Yeah. The at least for right now, the benefits, the motivation to play as multiple characters is entirely based on I like these characters from the comics, but doesn't sound like there's any in-game motivation to play through with multiple dudes.
Yeah, not necessarily. And the one thing I feel like it should have. Well, you know what? I'm going to warp to one last area here that got added real late, or that I didn't. The Shield training room was not in the beta, and last time I went in here, it was just empty, and you couldn't. It didn't look like you could do anything here, and you don't go here as part of any of the. So I don't know. There are target dummies in here where you can do stuff, but get a look at how much damage you're doing. This seems like it would be a good spot for you to be able to just change to any character and see how they work.
Sure. Or maybe it's just a matter of, like, if you wanted to test out your different gear.
Yeah, and just kind of check the numbers.
Yeah, it'd be like, okay, I'm getting better numbers.
And that's interesting and all, but at the same time,
like for practical application,
the game could use a little more math in terms of like DPS and stuff like that. I definitely found myself going like, well, attack speed, but damage. But how's the math work out on that? And I wish it sort of did the math for you.
Surfaced
on
a little
some
more
of
of that
those.
stuff.
That'd be nice. But yeah, generally speaking, enjoyable, and I think you can get off like pretty light with buying one or two characters that you like, and maybe another page for your bank stash or something if you want to keep all your crafting materials straight.
And again, there is a handful. There's like 5 characters out the gate.
Yeah, so if you end up liking
free.
one of those characters, you could play through this whole story and team up with other players and stuff and not spend any money, which this is pretty well made and enjoyable. So I think on that level, there's a potential for a really good deal here. You just have to kind of look at this stuff and go, no,
just not fall into
don't fall into the cosmetic traps.
The obvious free-to-play traps.
Because a lot of it gets weirdly pricey at some point.
Well, Jeff, thanks for giving us a look at Marvel Heroes.
Yep. That guy's blind, I think.
Yes.
That guy's blind?
Yes.
All right. Ask me anything about comic books.